Okay, so Ben sails his boat from a post P to a lighthouse L. A post P to a lighthouse L. Okay, from the lighthouse L, Ben sails on a bearing of 320 degrees. He sails 35 kilometres on this bearing to port Q. So the first question is to measure and write down the bearing of the lighthouse from the port P. So if we're going from P to L, then we will be going this angle here. So I'm going to mark that in. Okay, a bearing is the direction you turn from a position when you're facing north until you are facing the direction you want to go in. So you can see the angle that I've marked in will be my bearing. So I physically have to measure that angle, but as I'm using a protractor that's a semicircle, what I shall do is simply measure the small angle here and add that to 180. Now I make the small angle 40 degrees, so the bearing then will be 180 plus 40. So it's 180 to turn from the north line to the south line, and an extra 40 to go in the direction we want. So the bearing then is 220 degrees. Now from the lighthouse L, Ben sails on a bearing of 320 and he sails 35. Using a scale of 1 centimetre to 5, mark in the port Q with a cross X. So we've got these two things to take into account, the bearing and the distance. So first of all, I'm going to work out the angle for the bearing. Now it's a 320 degree angle clockwise that will move me round to about here. Now what I could do to make it easier is say it would be an anti-clockwise turn of 40 degrees. So I'm going to measure 40 degrees and mark that in. So you can see that I've marked a dot, and what I basically did was measured 40 degrees this way, which will be 320 going that way, and that's what we want, 320 degrees. Now I'm asked to do 1 centimetre represents 5 kilometres. I've got to represent 35 kilometres. So if I do 35 divided by 5, that tells me the length of the line needs to be 7 centimetres. So I need to draw a line to the point Q, mark it with an X, then I can rub out the line and I've got Q in the correct position. Remember, the distance from Q down to point L must be 7 centimetres on your diagram. That's the question finished.